So in 2026, if you sell high ticket coaching or consulting, you're going to have the realization that there are so many people killing it and people that are claiming that they kill it, but actually don't. And so my question that I want to start off with this is, where do you stand in that, right? For example, in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how we got Bago, one of our clients here, to 92K cash collected and scaled his coaching program. For transparency's sake, this is what he did in February, which is 66.6K. In March, he did 92K. And for transparency's sake, I wanted to show you that not all months are going to be so green like this. For example, last month, we only did 16.6K. But I wanted to be honest and give you the right framing here. All right. So also just in case people don't wanted to ask as well, because Bago sells a $15,000 coaching program, he makes up the number on what he wants to sell. So sometimes some people get quoted 15, some get quoted 25. He makes the prices. For this, you could see here that these are split payments. So the contract value is higher, but obviously the cash collected that we did is going to be lower. All right, moving on. So as you can see here, for February, for his YouTube channel, we did 100K views. And then for February, that was January. This was February, 91K. And then to achieve this 92,000, what we did was combine February's views and as well March's views, right? So as you can see here, a clear distinction is that views don't always automatically mean revenue. If you watched this channel before, you know I always harp about this, right? Your views is not going to be correlated to how much money you make, but it will influence it on a small scale. So I'll explain that a little bit later. But now let's get into the meat of it. This is Bago. This is his LA mastermind that he flew us out to. This is his Italy mastermind that we messed around with. And as well, Japan most recently back in November. No, that was April. And so if you're a coach, you have to charge high ticket if you want to make the most amount of impact for your students or your clients, however you reference them. Because you can't be able to put on these kinds of events where he rented out like a $30,000 mansion in LA, $30 million mansion in LA, got all his students like a king suite at the Four Seasons in Otemache, which is like one of the nicest hotels in Japan, or in Italy. I don't even know how to describe it. It was baller. So you can put on these events if you're not charging high ticket and getting a lot of them, right? And so let me get into the crux of how we were able to do this. First thing is the boring stuff that you probably don't want to hear, but I'm saying it because I guarantee you this is what actually separates all the people that kill it in high ticket coaching compared to the people that just can't even put two pennies together. And so this actually has nothing to do with what we did with Bago's business. It has actually everything to do with Bago, right? Which is his niche and where his domain of expertise lies in is so profitable. Let me break this down. He coaches software engineers to build their own businesses, right? So let's just focus on the software engineering side. The niche is so good because one, they're already rich. You know they can afford high ticket. The average software engineer makes $130,000 to $147,000 annually in the US. So clearly they have some disposable income that they could put into coaching, right? And two, they're competent because you can't really become a good software engineer unless you have some sort of high-level IQ that the average person or average American really doesn't have, right? Three, the TAM is huge for so many unhappy software engineers. I just wanted to add this. There's 83% of developers that report experiencing burnout. And this is where Bago is targeting towards, right? The TAM isn't huge in the sense that there's so many people, which there is, but if you take a percentage of the amount of software engineers there are to the total population, not that many. But the small quantity of people there is, each head is worth so much. Each lead is worth so much, right? And so how we play this into when we were positioning Bago is that we're so aggressive in the ICP that it stems everywhere. Not only in the marketing of the YouTube videos, the messaging of the YouTube videos, the messaging of the landing page, but also when Bago is on these sales calls, we're so aggressive with turning people away. And you should be too if you're a coach, because you got to realize if you have the mindset that you are marrying each student that you are taking on, you don't want to take on the shitters, right? And so with these 4 things, I just want to get that out of the way, because no matter how good we are, if your offer shit, your niche is a terrible niche, there's not much we could do. I like to think about it as like a multiplier. We are like the multiplier, but if we're like a 50x, but you're at like a 0.1, there's not much we could do, or even a 0. But if everything you have, like your offer, your niche, all that is, let's say, like a 5, and then we come in with a 50x multiplier, we will do great work, and I want you to hit me up, okay? All right, now let's get into the actual nitty-gritty. Okay, if you take anything away from this video, the main thing is all we did was just test a bunch of things, iterate off of the ones that worked, and then we spammed the living shit out of it so that it stops working at a certain point, and then we go back into testing. So let me show you what that actually looks like in practice. This was the first one here. It's the best business model for developers in 2026. We got this from a video that we did like a year before that, where it was the best solo guide to building your own business as a developer or something. Blew the fuck up. I made a video on it previously. It generated more than $465,000 in the time that I made that previous video. It's made more. And that's the beauty of YouTube, is that it always brings in leads no matter how long ago you posted it. But nonetheless, we iterated off that. And so I want you to pay attention to this thumbnail here for the packaging, right? We put Bago's face and some text, right? Don't build SaaS, don't build a SaaS. And this is just a striking like contradiction to what the norm is, right? Everybody says, oh, you should build a SaaS to software engineers, because hence that's where the skill sets lie. And so we just took a commonly accepted trait or like a saying, and we took the reverse of it to gain people's attention, right? And so once we saw that this worked, right? This one produced 79,000 views. We just spammed the living shit out of it. Now we did the same thing. Put his face and then text, controversial text. Quit while you can. That one, 56K views. Next, put his face, text beside it. Okay, now it's not working as well, but I mean, probably some of you guys would kill their firstborn to have these, right? And then when you get to this point where we spammed it too many times, put his face, put text, and now it's barely breaking 3K, right? And so now we're at the point where we've tried something that works, we spammed it, and it does not work anymore. And so now we go back to phase number 1, where we're going back to testing, right? And it's not just us that like created this like strategy. Everybody does it. I don't want to like say like, oh, this is like the Jeffrey method. This is the Han method. No, this is just common basic principles. So for Jeremy Haynes, he's the same thing. He found something that works, and then he just spams it all the time, right? I personally watched a lot of these videos. They're great. But one thing I want to show you is that it wasn't always like this, right? What is this process? You test, iterate, and then spam the living shit out of it, right? This is iteration. This was him testing. He saw that it was working, and then he was just iterating it from there, which led to him to do this. I guarantee you, in 6 months from now of me recording this, this thumbnail is going to be looking different, but it's going to have some sort of the same principles that is shown on here, all right? And it's not me that does it. Everybody does it. Daniel Dalen with his POVs. This is my guilty pleasure, Define Gatekeeper. If you like finance, great guy to watch, but it's the same thing. Put his face of a screenshot there, and then put some text on the top and bottom, and then shada bing, shada boom. This is a good friend of mine, Gens. He takes the same approach, but not the same execution that everybody else does. What he does is he iterates based off the feel of the packaging, right? The same textures, the same layouts, having one hero and then a few texts on it. That's his thing, right? Just to really paint this for you too, I want to show you a bad example. If I just showed you this, you wouldn't be able to recognize what's actually working. He's testing too many different variables that even if one does to click, you don't know why, right? For example, this one is his highest performing one out of these 9. If I asked you to tell me why this performed way better than all the other ones, you couldn't tell me with a definitive answer. Was it the packaging? Was it that his face is opened? His mouth is open? He has full guide? Maybe the video idea is just really good? You don't know, right? And that's the main point that I want to draw upon. So main thing is test, iterate, spam it until it stops working, and then go back to the testing. Okay, now this is a real important one. In 2026, you as a coach or consultant really need to recognize that you're like this meme. Let me show you. Like, this is you. You think you're like this special coach or consultant that like has this God-given right that you could wipe out the entire market. You're not. You're literally in a sea of other people that do the same thing, right? And so how do you like differentiate yourself? Like if your niche is that saturated, like giving people value for free is not even enough anymore. Like, think about that. You could make a video that is so like dense with good information that could like change somebody's life, but it's still not enough in 2026, right? And my point in saying that is that now you have to be not only creative with the way you deliver your message, but the medium that you send it. Let me break this down for Bigo. Okay. 1, we have an email signature so that they could get onto the email list, right? As you see here, this is email list. We are like taking out more than like 10,000 people because we don't want people that aren't within our ICP, right? And so no matter what, we're trying to give free value away on the email newsletter. That's not even enough. On the landing page, we have a VSL that also gives information and value to people. On top of that, we're also running webinars monthly so that people can come and get even more value on top of the free videos that they're watching. And as well, we put together a 55-page playbook for people to get for free based off of his course material. So tell me this. Realistically, ask yourself, how much free value are you giving? Is it to the scale that we are right now? I guarantee you it's not. Because if you were, you would be cash collecting 92K, right? And so my beckoning to you for this specific point is get creative with giving your information for free. Putting it on a video, it's not the way it works anymore. Like, it's not good enough, right? And so be creative with how you're delivering your message. Whether you're going to be making videos on top, you're going to be writing articles, or having a podcast, or you're sending out physical like mails to people that sign up. Who knows? Or even magazines are coming back up too. That's one thing I heard about. No matter how you do it, just get creative with how you deliver your message. Okay. Third thing that I think initially worked for us and is a little bit on the grayer side now just because we have so many different ways to nurture people. But one thing that did really work is we were really, I guess we got lucky, to be completely honest with you, is we set up the customer journey very, very well by luck, right? So we would make videos that are very highly entertaining, just very broad, right? So I studied 1,000 vibe coded apps, 97% failed for this reason, right? It's a spin-off of another entertainment video that we had where I studied 1,000 tech founders, yada, yada, yada. And those ones have worked really well at gaining a lot of attention and a lot of eyeballs. Not all the eyeballs that we like that are qualified, just random people, okay? And then so, for example, this one too, the best business start as a software engineer, high views, low conversions, right? But where we found is people are watching these kinds of videos, getting into Bigo's radar, and then nurturing themselves by watching other videos that he has posted that are more technical, that are more in depth. It shows the actual process so that they can understand exactly what they're trying to do, right? And then from there, they find their way into one of these four, if not all, of these nurturing buckets. So, what I want you to walk away with here is one, you're not doing enough, you're not testing enough, and even more, you're not iterating off of the data that you're getting, right? That's one. Two, be more creative with how you're sending out your message out into this world. If you're saying the same thing, or you're even just looking the same, or you're putting on the same platforms as everybody else, you're going to be like this, okay? And then as well, lastly, just if you put yourself in your student's position, how would you want to be sold to, right? If you have like any students, you have the greatest advantage apart from anybody else coming into this space, which is not the money, not the revenue, but the actual real lifetime feedback. So if you have any questions, you could just ask them and get a definitive answer on what your decision-making process should be, right? So play within your advantages. And so I hope that one day you'd be able to run these kinds of masterminds and as well cash collect this amount of money through YouTube alone. Okay. And if you need help with getting to 92 cash K collected in your coaching program, I want you to hit me up with the link below.